sort that out. It is a dent on the American democracy. Housekeeping matters. Monday and Wednesday, which is today and Wednesday, we are going to have Zoom class. So you meet with me via Zoom. On Tuesday and Thursday, you have no Zoom class. So you're going to meet in your groups, and you're going to, each group would have been assigned some topics, either a religion or some festival. You're going to do your presentation on that on Monday. Also, you have midterm tests on Tuesday, which is November 17, and the test will cover location, definitions, and historical process. Now, with the test will only go from Tuesday to Wednesday. After Wednesday, it will be closed. So if you don't do the test within that period, I'm just sorry for you. Objective for today's class, 1 second, please. Today, we're going to look at culture, and we're going to look at the different characteristics of culture. What is culture? When you hear the word culture, what comes to mind?
Sir,
Go
so
ahead for me.
the first, like the definition that I think everybody knows for culture is that it's the way of life of a group of people. But we can also say that like culture is like the characteristics of a specific group of people, and that includes like their language, their religion, and culture is like it's generally like accepted by the group of people without them even thinking about it, because it's like passed down from generation to generation. And
Yes.
then culture can be either like non-material or material. And
Mhm.
real culture is like language and values and norms, and then material culture is like the objects and artifacts that represent the group of people.
Very good. So you basically, Gilbert, you basically teach the class just now. But it is good to know that you're reading or you do sociology. Which one?
Sir,
You do
both. Both.
both? All right. Very good. Excellent. I'm happy that you have covered this. Somebody, you have covered everything thus far, some of the things that we're going to look at. All right. All right. What is culture? This is a broad definition from Anderson and Taylor. Somebody, could you read it for me, please?
Okay, culture is the complex system of meaning and behavior defines the way of life for a given group or society. It includes beliefs, values, knowledge, art, morals, laws, customs, traditions, habits, language, and dress, among other things.
All right, thank you very much. So when we're looking at culture, these sociologists mention that culture is very complex. It's a complex system, and they break it down to belief, the laws, all of these different stuff. Now, culture defines our perception, how we perceive things to be beautiful or ugly, what is right, what is wrong. And as Gilbert originally, well, stated earlier, she said that culture, even though we don't really think about it, is something that is really accepted by the society, right? And so it gives us a sense of belonging within a society. Now, when we look at culture, a broad umbrella of culture includes things like religion or socioeconomic background or sexual orientation, age, race, ethnicity, gender, different generation, nationality, education. All of these are things that when we are looking at culture, that comes under this umbrella. Now, as rightly stated before, that culture includes material and non-material. So material are things that you can actually touch, like your artifacts, the object, the buildings, your anything that is printed, the cell phone, or your furniture in your house. Because one of the things when I did material culture at university, uh, and we would have looked at societies before us. And one way in which we could interpret the lifestyle of groups before us was through the material culture, what was left behind. That's how we could interpret a lot of the indigenous peoples because of what was left, things that were left behind. So when archaeologists go and they actually start to excavate site and they find things, and whatever they find, these things actually help to determine or to tell you what was the society like, or also the non-material things, things that are not touchable, but things that are in practice, things like your norms, your laws, your customs, your ideas, your belief system. All right. Now, there are different characteristics of culture. So we see culture as learned behavior, we see culture as customs and tradition, we see culture as being norms and values, institutions that prescribe behavior and gendered roles. Now, in the exam, they usually ask the students what are the different ways in which we view culture. If you're going to look at it that way, you could say culture as learned behavior, cultures, customs, and tradition, cultures, norms, and values. All right, our culture as institution that prescribe our behavior or our gendered roles. Now, learned behavior. The first thing I want to let you know is that culture is not something that you were born with. Culture is something that you actually learn, right? It's something that was actually taught to you by either your family or the wider society. So it is learned behavior. Most of us today, our behavior is shaped by what we were taught. uh, when we look at maybe things like our language or habits or gesture, even if we come from the same society, how we speak might varies based on the different communities that we are from, or the different habits that we have, or the different gesture or religion or political belief. All of these different things are taught to us, even if you are not political, even if you are not political, you're still going to lean to one of the political party in your country because your parents will discuss politics around you, or you go to a family dinner and they are discussing politics and they lean towards a particular political side. The same thing with religion. We are our religion because of how we were taught. Most of us are Christian or part of a particular denomination. Whether you're Anglican because your parents were Anglican, or one parent is Anglican, or you're Methodist because one parent is Methodist, or your entire family is Methodist. You're Baptist because of the same, right? So with culture, culture is seen as learned behavior. Now, there are two concepts associated with culture, two things. Enculturation, which is the process by which culture is passed on from one generation to the next, and socialization, which is the process through which individuals learn behavior from one another. In reality, enculturation and socialization is basically saying the same thing. Now, what they're saying, sociologists argue, is that there are two ways in which people are socialized. One, primary socialization, the family. The family is the first place that you interact with. Is the family is the first place that actually tell you what is right or wrong, what is acceptable from what is not acceptable. Then you go on to the church, the school, and also your peers. And more recently, scholars have included the media as part of secondary socialization. So we know for sure that culture is taught. Next, culture is customs and tradition, or dance, or music, or arts, or craft. or ritual or different superstitious belief are all things that is part of our customs and traditions, even our food. So it is a tradition for us in the Caribbean on a on a Saturday to drink soup. It is a tradition for us in the Caribbean to have jerk chicken on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Yes. Or it is a tradition for us to have rice and peas with something, whatever you want to have it, whether pork, chicken, goat, something, or both of them on a Sunday. If you don't have rice and peas on a Sunday, it's like it's not Sunday. That's the fact. Or food. Christmas tradition, cake. This cake is very prevalent with sorrel during Christmas time. And also for weddings. In the Caribbean, it's part of our tradition to have to drink sorrel and also to make this cake. Another tradition that we have in celebrating Christmas in Jamaica is the Grand Market, that major celebration where people go out and celebrate the you buy your goods or buy your gifts and you buy up all of the little things them the night before Christmas. Some families go to church. If you're Catholic, you go to church for the mass. Now, our custom and tradition includes things like our festival, our music, our dance, the or reggae, all these different stuff involves part of our culture. Next, norms and values. So culture is also seen as norms and values. What is norm? Norm is what is acceptable, how we are supposed to behave. The values is how we rank these behavior, these qualities, right? How we feel about them. And so in the Caribbean, you have the just in case rule, right? You're cooking enough just in case somebody shows up. You don't cook, if it is four of you live in the house, you don't cook two, four, six, eight. You don't cook eight dumpling, right? You cook 12 or 16 dumpling, right? You boil 12 or 16 dumpling just in case somebody turn up at your house. You offer them some of the food. If the leftover dumpling, the boiled dumpling, all you do in the morning, if it is leftover, you just cut it in two, fry it, and you eat it with something. Nothing is better than the overnight boiled dumpling that is fried. Yes. So the just in case rule, the norm is that we are there is it is hospitable, but the value is that hospitability, sorry, is something that is held in high esteem in the Caribbean. Second example that is used in the textbook is behavior. For example, behavior when it comes to sexual orientation, norm in the value is that the norm in the Caribbean is that the norm is that a male and a female should be together uh, because they would have value heterosexual relationship, right? Now, in fact, Thompson et al. Said that norms and value acts as guide of social attitude and behavior that helps to form what is considered normal behavior. So if you adhere to the norm, you are praised, rewarded, accepted, or advanced. If you go against the norm, then you're at a disadvantage, you're not accepted, you're criticized, you're punished. And in your textbook, you would have used the example of a norm, which is we have the norm that we have is valuing it well male and female relationship, the value is that we place high value on heterosexual relationship. But if someone goes against that norm, then they are criticized, punished, or not acceptable. All right, so that is the example used in your textbook. So far, we would have looked at characteristics of culture, One is learned behavior, customs and tradition, norms and values. Next one, institution that prescribe our behavior. So there are various institutions in the Caribbean that prescribe how we behave. The justice system, if you do something wrong, you know that your police is going to come for you. You're going to go to the court, you're going to get locked up or in prison, right? Depends on the level of crime that you have committed. The education system helps to indoctrinate us or socialize us on how to behave. Religion, a major one part of our society. Even if people don't go to church, them people still, even the persons who say that they're atheists and they don't believe in God, still prescribe to some religious norm because the society is highly religious. And so Christianity is a dominant faith within the Caribbean. I wouldn't say in the Caribbean, but in Jamaica, in Trinidad and Guyana, they have exception because they have religious groups like Muslims and Hindus. We have it too, but they a large percentage of their population is of other religious views. Norms and values, sorry, so culture is also seen as gendered roles, how we perceive masculinity and femininity. Feminine traits, the different stereotypes is that females should not be aggressive, they should be dependent, easily influenced. That is one of the reasons. You see, when because society has taught males to that females should be dependent on them, some males cannot deal with an independent woman, cannot cannot deal with it. I've heard of stories before where a friend said to me that he would not marry a female if she's earning more money than him. Yes, it happens. And also because society has taught us, well, has taught males to be, or certain males to be independent and females to be dependent, you have this phenomena that even if the female is working more money, she believes that is the male's responsibility to give her money still, right? And so these are some of the different stereotypes. I believe that females should be submissive, passive, home oriented, easily hurt, emotionally indecisive. This is so wrong. Talkative, gentle, sensitive to other people's needs, very desirous of security, cries a lot, emotional, verbal, kind, tactful, nurturing. Now, if female doesn't fit this criteria, then they would say something is wrong with that female. At the same time, males are viewed as being aggressive, independent. Boy, society has really changed because right now there's a lot of dependent males. It, uh, especially within Jamaica, the males in our society, majority of them has really not being following these stereotypes, not easily influenced, dominant, active, worldly, not easily hurt, decisive, not talkative. And on this point of talkative, uh, in society, they are going to give you an example of talkative. Going to Jamaica College, the teachers, if the boys are in the class and they're being talkative in the class, the teachers would say, when I was going to, I don't know if they still do it, they would say, girls of Jamaica College, putting down, because it is perceived that males should not talk a lot. Or if you're a male and you tend to defend yourself or you're talkative, then say the boy they go and like him a girl leave. Or oh you can't chat so much like a girl. These are some things in quotation that society actually stereotypes how males should behave or how females should be. Or if he cries, oh yeah, cry so much like a girl, or be careful, you shouldn't cry, you must man up, man mustn't bawl. things like that. So these are some of the different gender stereotypes that we have uh, in society, and male should be tough. So if a boy uh, is gentle, you hear they use the word gentleman. Oh God. If a male is gentle, then he is considered either to be a homosexual, right? Or is considered to be not manly enough. So these are some of the different gender stereotypes in the Caribbean. Now, boys are seen as the one who are the protector. They should do everything on the outdoor. The girls are seen as the caregiver, anything domestic, wash the dishes. If you and your brother is the same, around the same age, he should be outdoor, even if he's not outdoor doing anything. He's just outdoor playing. You should be the one who is in there washing the dishes, go and pick up the clothes off the line, go and do this, all of these different stuff, because males and females have different gendered roles in Caribbean society. Also, in society, there's Caribbean society as your one that I believe one of the textbook would have mentioned this, is that in Caribbean society, sexual relationships, sorry, is encouraged in young males, right? From a very tender age. So from even this little one here, this little boy, his father would encourage him to say, who is your girlfriend at school, right? But a female, no, you can't talk about. So they sexualize our Caribbean males from a very, very, very young age. Any comments, ladies, or question? Any comments? Any question?
No, sir.
All right, good. So, ladies, when we look at culture, culture is learned behavior, customs and traditions, norms and values, institution that prescribe our behavior. And we look at the different institution and our gendered roles, how society actually view our stereotype males and stereotype females. All right, ladies, that's it. Since there's no question, no comments, I've been teaching from 8 o'clock this morning. I'm gonna have a eat my breakfast. Enjoy the rest of your day, ladies.
Same
Bye,
to you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
You too,
Same to
sir.
you.